And a warning, this report from our North of England reporter Sangeeta Lal has details you may well find upsetting.
She once looked after the most vulnerable babies. Now, though, Lucy Letby is accused of murdering children who depended on her care, in some cases just days old. Arriving in court, the former neonatal nurse faces 7 counts of murder and 15 counts of attempted murder, in some cases accused of attempting to murder the same baby multiple times. The allegations span between June 2015 and June 2016, when the jury heard consultants noticed a significant rise in the number of babies who were dying and the number of serious collapses. With doctors unable to find a genuine medical reason for the deaths, the police were brought in and concluded 2 babies were killed after being injected with insulin. Today, the prosecution told the court the only reasonable conclusion is that 2 babies were deliberately poisoned. These were no accidents. They said the collapses and deaths of the 17 children named in the indictment were not naturally occurring tragedies. They were the work of the woman in the dock, who was the constant, malevolent presence when things took a turn for the worse. The jury were also shown a list of nurses' names on shift when the 17 victims deteriorated and, in some cases, died. The jury were told these inexplicable deaths and sudden collapses did have an explanation, with prosecution claiming 1 nurse was present during every case. That nurse was Lucy Letby. Prosecution also claims she injected babies not just with insulin but with milk and other fluids. And on some occasions the jury heard she injected air into their bloodstream. She denies all the allegations and listened from the dock as the jury was shown forms with Miss Letby's signature confirming she'd administered fluids into babies minutes before they deteriorated. Evidence heard by her parents too, who watched from the public gallery. As the judge explained, this was a trial bound to provoke an instinctive reaction of horror, and a trial that the victims' families will hear prosecution claimed their babies were murdered in the one place they thought they'd be safe by a person meant to protect them. Well, today gave a real sense of the sheer scale of this case because prosecution read out the medical notes of individual babies, how they went from being stable but were administered fluids, minutes later how they deteriorated, and notes of how staff tried to resuscitate them, and finally notes of their time of death and when they were handed back to their parents who cuddled them. And it's this minute-by-minute detail that will be analysed over the course of this trial that's expected to last 6 months.